Hello guys, welcome back to TFD with Cordy. So today we've got to talk about something that honestly feels a little strange when you really think about it. Caitlin Clark is getting ready to suit up for United States women's national basketball team. And this is going to be the first time we've seen her play real basketball in about 8 months. 8 months. That's a long time for a player who has basically been the center of the basketball world for the past few years. And the crazy part about it is, this might also be the last time we see her play for another 6 months after this. When you really sit down and think about that, it's kind of wild. We might end up seeing Caitlin Clark play fewer than 10 games of basketball during this stretch. And if you zoom out even more, there's a real chance that across nearly 3 years, we might see her play fewer than 20 total games in certain international windows like this. Now, obviously, a lot of that has to do with the schedule, the women's national basketball season timing, national team commitments, and everything else surrounding the sport right now. But it still feels strange because we're talking about the biggest star in women's basketball. The hype around the wnba has been massive over the past year, largely because of Caitlin Clark, and yet fans barely get to see her actually on the court during parts of the calendar. So while some of that hype might cool off for a bit, the one thing we can still be excited about is moments like this. Whenever Caitlin Clark steps on the court, it feels like an event. Whether it's a college game, a WNBA matchup, or now USA basketball competition, people are going to tune in because they want to see what she does next. And Clark herself seems genuinely excited just to be back out there competing again. She talked about how much she's looking forward to being surrounded by great players and doing whatever she can to help the team win. That's been a consistent theme with her. No matter the stage, she's always focused on contributing to the team first. There were also some comments shared online, with reports originally coming from Tony East, talking about how Clark has been preparing for this moment. She mentioned that she participated in the USA basketball camp back in December and has been doing everything possible to simulate live game action, training sessions, pickup runs, and practice scenarios. But as she said herself, nothing really compares to the environment of an actual game. Now, when you look at the upcoming schedule, a lot of these early games should be fairly straightforward for United States women's national team. Let's be honest here. Against teams like Senegal women's national team or New Zealand women's national team, the talent gap is enormous. Those could easily turn into blowouts. Italy women's national team might put up a little bit more resistance. They have some solid players and could keep things competitive early, but even then, Team USA should still handle that matchup comfortably. The one team that really stands out, though, is Spain women's national team. Spain has always been a tough international opponent. They're disciplined, experienced, and they play a very smart style of basketball. If Team USA comes out flat or takes that game lightly, Spain absolutely has the ability to make things interesting. But overall, this stretch is less about whether Team USA wins and more about finally getting to see Caitlin Clark back on the court again. And for fans who've been waiting months to watch her play, that alone is going to make these games worth tuning in for.
The team won't be there. I have 2 team members that kind of, if I have questions, that's who I turn to. And it's Aaliyah and Lexi for our team. Obviously, that'll probably change with, you vote on it every year and you decide who's going to represent your team. And then obviously the executive committee, those are the people that, we kind of put our trust in and turn to represent us as the players. And, I have open dialect with them. I can't say I've been on every single CBA call that's been open to the players. It just conflicts with everybody's schedule. That's impossible when there's 144 players. You can't line up a call that is going to work for every single person. So you have to be very intentional. And if you have questions, you can reach out to those people. And there's certainly been people that I've reached out to and had communication with. So I think you just rely on that and rely on the people that are in those positions that you trust them and they're going to do the best representing the entire group.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we'll go to Maddie Kenny in New York.
Hi, Caitlin. I just have a quick question regarding you're about to make your U.S. national team senior debut alongside Paige and Angel, and all of you guys are kind of part of this young future of this team, right? And so I guess I'm just curious, how much pride do you take in having that opportunity of being kind of this like torchbearer, like in the holding cell, so to speak, and look forward to this opportunity?
Yeah, I think as a kid that played on 3 junior national teams, like there aren't many people that get that opportunity that come from the junior national team. I remember when I was on some of those young teams, I think especially even my first time playing on the U16 team, like the amount of people that make it from the U16 team to eventually get to make their debut on the national team is a very, very, very small number. So getting to play in just this World Cup qualifier obviously is a huge honor within itself. And, I know getting to put on the jersey will be super special. And, these are the teams I watched growing up. My favorite players played on these teams. So everybody knows what an honor it is to wear USA across your chest. And, obviously there's quite a few more steps to reaching the Olympics. And you have a lot till we get to that point. But obviously that's certainly my goal. And obviously the World Cup before that. But I think there's still a lot for me to learn. There's a lot of really great older players here that have won gold medals that I can learn from and be surrounded by. I think that's the fun part about USA too. There's multiple people that have done this before and you can learn from them. So excited for that journey as well. And I think, people that are making their debut, whether it's me, Paige, Angel, Kiki, or whoever else it is, whether in this event or another event, would probably say the same as well.
Let's go to Jeff.
Thank you. Caitlin, good morning. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you. This game is going to be your first on-floor action in 8 months. So with that in mind, what do you want to accomplish through this San Juan process? And perhaps through the rehab process, what did you learn about yourself and perhaps a human being as well?
Yeah, it's definitely been a while since I played a game. And obviously I played in the camp we had in December, and then, doing everything I can to simulate as much live play in training and pickup and things like that, but nothing will quite emulate this type of environment. So I think it'll probably take me a second to knock a little bit of the rust off. I'll probably be a little bit nervous, which I usually don't get nervous, but that probably just will come from, I haven't really played basketball in a while. So I'm sure like after the first minute of running around on the court, I'll be just fine. But more than anything, just really excited. I know how much work and how much time I've put in to make sure my body's as healthy as it can be, and to get back not only to a point where I feel like I'm myself, but I feel like I'm even better than, where I was at the beginning of last season. And I started off the season really well before I was hurt and tried to play through being hurt. So more than anything, just excited to be out there, be surrounded by a lot of really good players, and, do whatever I can to help us win.
When it comes to the injury, especially this coming so early in your career, how can you turn it into kind of almost a silver lining, a blessing in disguise? How can your work turn that into a positive and press things forward in your career?
Yeah, well, I've always been a person that's going to just rely on my work. Like, I feel like it's certainly made me work harder, but that's also probably the part that kind of stunk about it, is I felt like I put in so much time and so much energy going into last season, and then obviously I only appeared in about 13 games, and some of those probably wasn't as healthy as I probably should have been. So I think just relying on that. I think for me, like, obviously I didn't have, like, it's not like I, hurt my knee or, was in like tore my Achilles or something like that. Obviously, knock on wood, it was kind of these nagging injuries that continued to build up and dealt with one on top of the other. And I think that was probably almost, played with my mind even more than like knowing I was going to be out for a set period of time. I was like always trying to come back. And then I'd get hurt in another way. And then, finally, obviously shutting it down, I've had a good, 6 months or maybe more. And I think the first USA basketball camp was a great checkpoint for me. And I felt really great. Honestly, I was impressed with like how with it I felt. Like sometimes I felt like it maybe would take me a day or two to really get my first step back. But I felt like myself out there. So just relying on that, and just remind myself who I am and what I've been, and I didn't lose that. So just continue to do that.
Appreciate your time and insight. My best to Carson Hocevar. Hope to see you guys in the links again soon.
All right, let's go to Alyssa Hirsch.
Hey, Caitlin.
Hello.
How has your training been the last couple of months, and have you been focused on anything in particular?
I think you get to a point, I think especially like after getting through that first USA basketball camp, I think like a lot of just true live play. Like you can only, obviously I love skill development and working on my game and this and that. And there's obviously a ton of that, but there's, you need to just go out there and play pickup and play 5-on-5 with the guys or play threes. and just trying to get my lungs in the best shape I possibly can without really playing a competitive game. So that's kind of been my main focus. And then obviously just continuing to focus on my body and make sure I'm as healthy as possible. I think kind of in the build up to that first USA camp and working through that, you would feel little things, and whether, it's just soreness and having to work through that. But when you've dealt with so many little soft tissue injuries, like, you can kind of get in your head a little bit. And I think at least past couple of months, I've really kind of put that behind me and really just feel confident in what I've been able to build and where my body's at, and more than anything, where my game's at. And I know I've put in as much time as I can, truly. Like, I've been in the gym, and I'm really thankful for the Fever medical staff, player development, and a lot of other people that have helped me behind the scenes to be able to get back to this. Like, it wasn't just me. Like, there's a lot of people that were very, very selfless in helping me do this. So I'm just thankful for them. But a lot of live play more than anything. It's the best way to get back into game shape and, try to emulate certain things the best you can.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, and we'll end with one from Lauren Jones.
Hi, Caitlin. Thank you for taking the time. I just two quick ones for me. Who were some of your favorite Olympic basketball players kind of growing up? And what are you hoping to kind of glean from anybody in particular from this team in terms of game and just kind of the mental fortitude that it takes to kind of get through this?
Yeah, I mean, like, my favorite Olympians growing up, definitely Maya Moore, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi. Those are probably my three favorite. But I mean, you can go down the list and name probably a bunch more. And even on the men's side, like, I loved watching the men's teams as well growing up. And I remember, like, one of my best memories as a young basketball player was when I was, like, I think this was my first time playing on the U16 team. And we were in Colorado Springs, and we got to see this room. I don't know if I should be saying this. I feel like it's fine, but we got to see this room where they kept, like, jerseys of all their, like, best players, or a jersey from each player. Maybe I can't remember the exact specifics, but they had jerseys dating back years and years and years. And I remember as a kid, like, I was like, my eyes were just so wide. Like, I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. Like, all these senior national team jerseys of all these really great men's players and all these really great women's players. And we're 15 and 16 years old, and obviously having dreams of being able to do that one day. So cool to be making my debut. And I think, turning to your other question, like, obviously, everybody here is really good. So you can learn from everybody. And I think for myself, obviously, just trying to learn from the people that have done this before. There's a reason they're here. There's a reason they've won gold medals. So just try to soak in their knowledge and follow their lead the best I can.
Let's be real for a second. If you're playing for United States women's national basketball team, especially on the women's side, you're probably winning a gold medal. That's just the reality of the situation. The gap between Team USA and the rest of the world in women's basketball is still very, very big. People like to say that the world has caught up, but honestly, that really applies more to the men's game than the women's game right now. On the men's side, you've got international superstars everywhere. You've got guys like Nikola Jokic dominating the National Basketball Association, and international teams that can genuinely compete with Team USA. But on the women's side, the United States still has a massive advantage in terms of depth, talent, and development. Maybe countries like France women's national basketball team will close the gap in a few years, but right now, Team USA is still the standard. Now, one thing I've always liked about USA basketball is the way they keep certain traditions alive. One of the coolest things they do is with jersey numbers. For the national team, the numbers usually stay within the range of 4 through 15, and when players receive their gear bag, they actually get a list showing every player at the senior level who has ever worn that number before them. Think about how cool that is for a young player. Imagine you're going through that list and suddenly you see legends attached to the same number. For example, if you wore number 6 and saw a name like LeBron James on that list, that would be pretty surreal. Or if you had number 9 and realized that players like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant wore it before you. Little traditions like that matter. They connect the current players to the history of the program, and they inspire younger athletes to chase that same level of greatness. And honestly, that's one thing I'll give USA credit for. Even though I've had my criticisms of how they do things sometimes, the way they inspire the next generation of players is actually really impressive. But anyway, that's the video, and that's Caitlin Clark's interview. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.